The 2026 Sunbet ZX10 Masters Cup is proudly brought to you by Sunbet.co.za, Bridgestone, the tyre of choice, and these associate sponsors. Welcome to the Aldo Scribante circuit in Port Elizabeth, or Gqeberha, for round 4 of the 2026 Sunbet ZX10 Masters Cup. Definitely a rider's favourite for sure, and no, I'm not talking about the beach. I am in fact talking about the racetrack itself. A tight and twisty track, but a very fast track nonetheless. Great to have Johan Leroux with us and Taran Piper, who was thirsty for more. I love my motorcycle, we all do, my boy, we all do. 24 riders made their way down to PE for round 4, including this man, Bradley Zeman. And that man, Keith Agliotti, will be wanting more after a disappointing round 3 at Swartkorps. Clutch issues for Ian Harwood, setup issues for Stephen Golgotzi, and eyesight issues there for veteran rider Johan Leroux. All good, all fun and games in the Sunbet ZX10 Masters Cup. A minute of silence was held, however, before proceedings got underway for the late Simon Fourie and Andre de Kock, two men who will be sorely missed in the motorsport fraternity. It was that time again in the Sunbet ZX10 Masters Cup. Time to get those tools out, time to get those last settings dialed in, time to tighten those brake discs, and a huge thank you to Auto Motorcycles in Port Elizabeth for their assistance in changing tyres. Tyres, you might add, yes, Bridgestone tyres, brand new, ultra sticky Bridgestone R11 tyres. It was time to fit those tyres before the final qualifying session on Saturday morning. Remember, these riders use one set of Bridgestone tyres for the final qualifying session, qualifying 4 on Saturday morning, and for their 2 races. Now, ladies, pay attention, because you always say that we never do housework, we never clean up. But have a look at this. Damien Provocati proving that we do, in fact, clean up after ourselves at the racetrack. Reggie Seal sharing a moment with his biggest fan, the 79 of Nico Zitzman, and the 44 of veteran rider Johan Leroux. He would be one to watch in the Class C battle. So, brand new Bridgestone R11 tyres fitted then. It was also time to fit those brand new brake pads. EBC Brakes, the brake pad of choice in the Sunbet ZX10 Masters Cup Championship. And as you can see here, a brand new set getting fitted by Byron Rothwell. It was time to get those final checks underway. Perhaps a final check of your tyre pressures. Warm those bikes up, those Kawasaki ZX10Rs. Ensure your tyres are nice and warm and cozy as well. And make sure that you are also warm, limbering up here. As you can see, Taran Piper and Alfie Swanepoel, and that is Robert Ferreira trying to take off. Great to have the 66 of Darren Upton, a long-awaited return for the number 66 man. Trevor Westman all the way from Cape Town, the killer. Could he throw his ZX10R in the mix? Could Damien Provocati take victory, or would Keith Agliotti throw his name in the hat? One thing was for sure, the return of the champ. Clinton Siller had made his long-awaited return after injury, and he was back to show everyone exactly why he is a 2-time Sunbet ZX10 Masters Cup champion, as well as a multiple South African national champion. Always good to have Gerard Frey and the 48 of Aubrey Murray. Taran Piper, those eyes are focused. Gerard Frey with a massive thumbs up. And James Barson, current Class C championship leader, he would be throwing his name in the hat as well for overall victory once again. But could he be challenging for those overall podium positions? Only time will tell. So poleman there, obviously Clinton Siller, the number 1, the King Plus Extreme ZX10R, followed by Damien Provocati and Keith Agliotti. That was your front row. As we said, Trevor Westman, great to have him from Cape Town. There's the first of the Class C riders, James Barson. Adi van Dalen, the man behind VAG Automotive Centre Centurion, one of our series sponsors. And there is the number 66 of Darren Upton, a thumbs up. Now, Darren was on a lone motorcycle, Hein McMahon kindly loaning the number 66, his motorbike, as Hein McMahon unfortunately couldn't make it down to round 4 of the 2026 Sunbet ZX10 Masters Cup. The 37 of Byron Rothwell, always with a smile on his face. The number 57 of Renatus van der Kerk, and the 56 of Dirk Stolz. The 45 of Taran Piper, one of the men behind Pumpelec CC, a series sponsor once again. And you can hear the hooting there in the background. That is further down. You can see right at the back of the grid, Ian Harwood on the 24. Now it goes to show you that these bikes are pretty much stock standard. They've got a few little modifications. They all run the same Bridgestone R11 tires and the same EBC brake pads. Pole position went to Clinton Sella ahead of Damien Perivacati and Keith Agliotti in third. Head of the second row, Trevor Westman ahead of James Parson and Adi van Dalen in 6th place. Darren Upton in a grade 7th ahead of Peter Delport in 8th, Henk Kruger in 9th and Reggie Seal rounding out the top 10. Byron Rothwell in 11th ahead of Renatus van der Kerk in 12th, Dirk Stolz 13th, Taran Piper in 14th, Gerard Frey, Johan Leroux in 16th, Robert Ferreira in 17th, Jaya Cruz in 18th, Stephen Golgotzi in 19th and Aubrey Murray in 20th position. Alfie Swanepoel in 21st, followed by Ian Harwood in 22nd, Bradley Zeman in 23rd and Nico Zitzman rounding out the grid in 24th place. Under starters orders, and the big question was, could anyone beat Clinton Sella into turn 1? Only time would tell. As the marshals held up that red flag, the red flag was pulled away, the lights would go on and the lights would go off, and away the riders went for the start of race 1 of the 2026 Sunbet ZX10 Masters Cup. Wheelies off the line, the added power here. It's very difficult to keep that front wheel on the ground, but Clinton Sella doing the best at that. He got the whole shot ahead of Damien Perivacati in 2nd place, and that looked like Keith Agliotti in 3rd, followed by Trevor Westman in 4th. As we jump on board with Taran Piper further down the grid, you can see a little bit of a wheelie and bog off the line, and that cost him a few positions. This beautiful shot thanks to the Insta 360 Go 3S, the pint-sized but mighty action camera. These brilliant and crystal clear shots. And there's Jaya Cruz. Great to have the 76 back as well, joining us here in Port Elizabeth, or Gqeberha as it's now conveniently named. As the riders made their way through the Esters, you can see James Parson under immense pressure, and that was from Adi van Dalen. But just ahead of them was Henk Kruger. Now Henk was having a difficult round 4. He just never had the pace, battling with gearing, battling with setup issues the whole weekend. So it was great to see he had a turn of pace here in race 1 and was looking mighty aggressive. Reggie Seal, Byron Rothwell, and unfortunately Stephen Golgotzi, his race was over before it even started with a chain falling off on the sighting lap. So an unfortunate end, I was going to say start, but end to the race for Stephen Golgotzi. But the start of lap 2 for the number 1 of Clinton Sella, and it pretty much looked like he would just pick up where he left off. Already pulling a gap on your current championship overall leader, that was Damien Perivacati, the number 88 bike. But he was under immense pressure from Keith Agliotti early on. So a great turn of pace here from Keith Agliotti, and that right behind him Trevor Westman as well. Trevor goes very well down here in Port Elizabeth as well. So Clint Sella, Damien Perivacati, Keith Agliotti, Trevor Westman on the inside, the 67 of James Parson. A brilliant move from James on his pro-proof, waterproof and painting ZX10R. So there he took 5th place away from Darren Upton. A great start from the 66 of Darren Upton as well, who was no doubt a little bit ring rusty, but he'll be getting quicker and quicker obviously as the season progressed as well. He's on a borrowed motorbike, remember that. Here he is, the 66. Now, does that bike look familiar? Of course it does, because it belongs to Hein McMahon. Heading into turn 1, it was James Parson, Adi van Dalen, Darren Upton, and right behind Darren Upton was also Henk Kruger having a fantastic outing. There's the 21 of Gerard Frey as well. Gerard Frey on his SAC Project 60 SA, the Disciples in Tattoo Eyeglass ZX10R. So great to have Gerard back with us, an absolute character and a joy to be around in the Sunbet ZX10 Masters Cup paddock. A troublemaker as well, but we'll forgive him for that. So Keith Agliotti, Trevor Westman, that was the battle now for the final podium positions. And as you can see, the rest of the riders, that is the 57 of Renatus van der Kerk. He was ahead of Peter Dalport and Reggie Seal, the veteran rider. A little bit of a disappointing start. He was fending off the hard-charging 37 of Byron Rothwell and Dirk Stahls with that all-action hanging off, elbow scraping left to right, looking fantastic as always, as was this man, the number one, the King Price Extreme ZX10R, really picking up where he left off, as we said before. The 31, that is of course Keith Agliotti, and he was also having a great outing, and a great outing indeed as well. 469 of 80 van Dalen up the inside. No, that's a very easy move to make into turn one. As you can see, wheeling out of the final corner, that is the 45 of Tyrone Piper. But going back to this battle here, James Barson and Eddie van Dalen, they're just taking lumps out of each other. And this is something we've seen before, but the battle for fifth was well and truly underway. And this was the battle for sixth now, and that was Darren Upton and Henk Kruger. As we take the ride on board with Peter Dalport, looking for a move on the inside of Renatus van der Kerk, and a few choice words there, making a mistake. You can see as he grabbed that front brake, he was well on the inside, and that bike just snapped under braking. He had to release the brakes, and unfortunately, he did the right thing by picking the bike off, running off, and he lives to fight another day. But that would cost him a whole heap of positions. Back with the leaders though, it was Clinton Sella still out front, ahead of Damien Purificati on his Crystal Lubricants ZX10R, Keith Agliotti in third, and that is Trevor Westman in fourth place. So now the gap sort of had spread out a little bit of a boring but lonely race for the top four riders. But the fifth place battle was still on between James Barson and Eddie van Dalen further back. But the number one out front wasn't worrying about that. You can see here about a 4 or 5 second advantage now on his rival and current championship leader Damien Purificati. Now Clinton Sella has a lot of ground to make up in the 2026 Sunbet ZX10 Masters Cup. After missing quite a few rounds, a lot of people have already written him off for the championship in 2026. But never write off a rider, especially in motorcycle racing. As we know, anything can happen in the sport that we love. Further back, and Byron Rothwell was having a great ride on the fringes of the top 10 in 11th place on his Magic Full Warehouse Alco Electrical Alfetis ZX10R. But he was a little way behind Keith Agliotti. Keith was having a much better outing. Remember that disappointment at round 3 with a few little issues on the front end, some braking issues caused by a wheel bearing issue on that ZX10R, but he was experiencing none of those issues now on his 10B Global Ridgeway Race Bar ZX10R. A brilliant third place, and remember, second in Class A. We've got Clint Sella out front, he's a Class A rider. Damien Purificati is in Class B, and then we've got Keith Agliotti, Class A, and this man, the 60 of Trevor Westman on the Project 60 SA Team Wayward ZX10R. He was also a Class A rider, so he was trying to catch out Keith Agliotti for second overall in Class A. Experience versus youth? Well, that pretty much was the battle for fifth place. James Barson ahead of Eddie van Dalen, so a Class C rider leading a Class A rider. Eddie van Dalen looking for a move on the inside of James Barson heading into turn 1. But no, James Barson doing a fantastic job of just letting go of that brake and rolling through the corner, not allowing AD through. The 48 of Aubrey Marais, he was having a great ride. He was ahead of Ian Harwood, who was also having a great ride, and they were ahead of the number 3 of Alfie Swanepoel and the 79 of Nico Zitzman on his LNC Project ZX10. Oh, he was having a fantastic outing, setting 108 lap times. Now, for reference, I mean, the fastest lap of the race was Clinton Sella on a 102.565, and the rider who was currently in last place, Nico Zitzman, setting a 108.7, so just over 6 seconds a lap, separating the fastest rider down to the bottom tail enders of the field. That's how competitive the Sunbet ZX10 Masters Cup really is. I mean, a 108 lap time by Nico Zitzman is a fantastic and extremely fast lap time, so something he can be really proud of. He'll be looking at improve that come race 2 as well. And this battle, the 57 of Renatus van der Kerk, great to have Renatus back. He showed promise at Tork Craft Raceway, so really good to have him back. And he was battling hard with that bright Lumo yellow bike of Reggie Seal, the 166, the crafty veteran rider. But out front, the number 1, the red and gold bike, the King Bus Extreme ZX10R of Clinton Seller. No one could hold a candle to him. He was pretty much up and away, ready to take a victory, a much-earned victory, an emotional victory it will be for Clinton Seller, ahead of Damien Pirvacati, the 88. Keith Agliotti now also heading out of the final corner, and Trevor Westman had now fallen into the clutches of the 5th place battle, and that was between James Barson and Adi van Dalen. But on the last lap, no one could hold a candle to Clinton Seller coming up to lap. Now Alfie Swanepoel and Nico Zitzman was the number 1 of Clinton Seller. Clinton Seller's injury at Cape Town was a little bit worse than we first thought. Not from any motorbike related accident or anything like that, but in fact he had a trapped nerve and he had to undergo surgery, and they weren't sure that he would actually be able to ride a motorbike again. So a lengthy time off recovering, but he was back to his best, back to doing what he does best, and that is winning. A well-earned victory in race 1 for the number 1 of Clinton Seller. A brilliant ride from the 2-time defending champion, the number 88 of Damien Pirvacati. Some much important points there for 2nd place. So a great ride from your current championship leader. But there we go. Number 1, I'm back. I'm stronger than ever. The number 1 of Clinton Seller. Clinton Seller taking a dominant victory then ahead of Damien Pirvacati in 2nd. Also 1st of the Class B riders. 3rd was Keith Agliotti. Trevor Westman in 4th, ahead of James Barson in 5th place. Also 1st of your Class C riders, Adi van Dalen, Henk Kruger. Darren Upton in a great 8th place, ahead of Renatus van der Kerk in 9th and Reggie Seal in 10th. Byron Rothkohl in 11th, ahead of Dirk Stolz in 12th. Johan Leroux, Tyron Piper in 14th. Jairo Cruz in a great 15th, ahead of Aubrey Marais, Robert Ferreira, Peter Delport, Gerard Frey in 19th, and Bradley Zeeman finishing a race in 20th position on his Zeeman ZX10R. Then Harwood 21st, Alfie Swanepoel in 22nd, and Nico Zitzman last of the finishers in 23rd. As the riders made their way into Park Fairmont at the end of race 1, the number 1 being shown there from the defending champion Clinton Seller, getting the congratulations from Steve Cannon, his crew chief. And there we have Damien Pirvacati, also a big thumbs up. That's sunbet.co.za. Umbrella working overtime. Dirk Stolz.
Oh, yeah, it was a good race. Thank you.
Well, lekker. Nice interview. Thank you. Always great hearing from the 48 of Aubrey Marais, a man of many words, as they say. Jairo Cruz having a chat to Gerard Frey, and Dirk Stolz checking on those lap times. Gerard Frey, how was that?
Sorry, it wasn't my best performance or best race ever, but obviously I had a draw. But I was at the starting grid, I checked if I was on my mark, and when I looked up, the lights were off and the guys were going.
Everyone
so
gone already.
The start was a gemors.
Yes.
But now I know what to expect for race 2, and then we're good to go again.
Lekker. Well, look, you need to look left or come right, or in your case, look forward and come right.
That's maybe the point I'm going to use next time, yeah.
There we go. Best of luck.
Thank you, Sean. I can't wait.
Clint Seller, bit of an emotional return back to racing, and you picked it up with the win. It took me, how did that feel?
Yeah, no, it was good. It was good. It was nice to be able to push on my motorbike, but definitely felt that, you know, you do all the cycling, all the training, all that jazz. And yeah, racing's different, eh? Been a while since I've had on pump, but yeah, was able to manage it. Honestly, felt like there was loads of pace, so thoroughly enjoyed my King Plus Extreme bike. You know, just thank you to all my sponsors who've stood by me during this really tough time. My wife, my family, everyone involved, and yeah, knew we could come back and put a number 1 on top.
Well, clearly it looks like you are feeling strong after the operation.
Yeah, honestly, 100%. That side is done. Now I just need to get a little bit of racing fitness in me, but today I'll help, so we'll keep going.
All the best for race 2.
Thank you.
And that's race 1 of round 4, done and dusted here at the Aldo Scribante circuit. Could anyone challenge Seller in race 2? Only time will tell. Could James Barson take an overall victory once again in Class C? Would Damien Pirvacati take Class B honours? Only time will tell. The 2026 Sunbet ZX10 Masters Cup is proudly brought to you by sunbet.co.za, Bridgestone, the tyre of choice, and these associate sponsors.